How did I get fluent in Japanese in America? What up, guys? Mark here. Right now we're at some abandoned building right here. Some real old buildings I found next to Seiyu supermarket. But yeah, guys, we're gonna talk about how I got fluent in Japanese in America before I even moved to Japan from the beginning. So yeah, I started learning Japanese when I was 15, and I started off with like Japanese Pod 101 and YouTube videos, learning Japanese, just learning the basics. And then I came across Chris Abroad in Japan's channel, and he had a video on like how he learned Japanese. He had moved to Japan, and yes, I looked at that video, and then I came across something called All Japanese All the Time, and All Japanese All the Time, and Chris Abroad both recommended you learn kanji first, like get that out of the way first. If y'all don't know, kanji are the Chinese characters in Japanese. Chinese characters, there's about 2,000 like of the most commonly used ones that like you'll see in a newspaper, or just around. Like, see if there's some kanji around here, show y'all really quick. So behind me right here, I don't know if y'all could see that, it might be backwards, but those are some kanji mixed with Chinese characters. Like the first one right there, this is mainichi. This means every day. Those are two Chinese characters. But yeah, just you want to learn the Chinese characters first. So there's 2,000 of them. So I just like put all my energy into that. Within like the first like 2-3 months, I learned a bunch of phrases, like just regular Japanese konnichiwa, konbanwa, arigatou gozaimasu, just the regular stuff. And then after I learned the phrases, I just went deep in the kanji, and I learned the 2,000 kanji in like 3 months, like 3-4 months. I just went crazy and learned them all. And I did have like a break, like probably like 2 months in, I learned like 1,000 kanji. I took a break, and then I got back in it, and then before I knew it, I knew how to write, and I knew the basic meaning of all the 2,000 kanji. And yeah, I'm gonna teach y'all how to learn kanji on my other channel, Studying Japanese with Mark. But yeah, so I had learned all the kanji relatively fast, and like a good way. I didn't just write them down over and over and over. Actually, like there's a method to the madness, how to learn the kanji really quick. But yes, I learned the kanji, and then in the AJAP method, All Japanese All the Time method, you want to be listening to Japanese while you're learning, whatever you're doing. Just like listening to Japanese all day, all night. So while I was learning the kanji, I would always have something in Japanese going on in the background, and a lot of times that was YouTube. So I'd have like movies, music. Music was a big thing. Like, I wasn't into anything Japanese besides anime at first, but after I got into like All Japanese All the Time, I started learning Japanese music, because I would have it on in the background a lot, and I found a couple bands I liked, and some YouTubers. Maybe at the time, not too many. Yeah, I definitely found a couple Japanese YouTubers I liked at the time that I would have on in the background as I would study the kanji. But yeah, so I learned the kanji, and then I would always have Japanese on in the background, and I picked up a lot of words through that. And then I also got my pronunciation. That gets your pronunciation pretty good from the start. There's a little butterfly. In Japanese, chocho, butterfly. But yes, I got the pronunciation, or I was listening to Japanese all the time. I finished the kanji, learned all the 2,000 kanji. Next, my next step, and while I was doing this, I was still trying to talk to Japanese people once a month. Or not once a month, once a week online, because I didn't have any Japanese people I knew. So I was talking to Japanese people once a week online, and yeah, I finished the kanji, and then next I got the Genki textbook. Genki 1, Genki 2. And I don't know if that was recommended on AJAP, but it was recommended on something. Like, I think it was like a lot of people were recommending the Genki textbook. So I got that, and let me tell you, that gives you a freaking great start. Like, Genki 1 and Genki 2 textbooks, a great base to learn Japanese. And I had already learned all the kanji. So, like, knowing all the kanji and then starting to learn Japanese just makes Japanese way easier. Learning Japanese way easier. So yeah, guys, I got the Genki textbook, started learning simple grammar and simple grammar stuff like that. Learned a lot of, yeah, basically that was like my grammar. That's where all the grammar started, was the Genki textbook. Finished the Genki textbook, got the Genki 2 textbook, started learning even more. And I knew from the AJAT method that you have to do SRS, spaced repetition, and I don't know what the last S is, but basically you want to download some sort of online flashcard system, like Anki is a very popular one, and use that to basically keep your flashcards in organized. So you make your flashcards, and the way it works is you study one, and then if you press good, it comes back up, and 3 days later, if you press good again, it comes back up a week later. Basically, you keep studying, but the like the rate at how often you have to study it gets larger and larger because it's getting moved into your long-term memory. So basically, you forget stuff like the first 2-3 days. So when you're about to forget it, you study it basically with Anki. Like it'll come up if you're studying every day, doing Anki cards every day. It'll come up like the 3 days ago that you, or 3 days later after you press the good on the card. So I was doing a lot of SRS. That's a very important part of the AJAT method, MIA method, SRS. You gotta make flashcards and study the flashcards. That's how I was also studying the kanji too with flashcards. There was a deck I downloaded on, and basically you draw the kanji. It would say like, you'd probably say like in English, and then you'd have to draw the kanji, and then you'd get it. If you got it correct, then like I said, you'd see it in 3 days, and then a week, and then 2 weeks, and then a month, like spaced repetition. So yeah, there's a lot of that. Finished the Genki 2 textbook, and always studying my flashcards every day, and then always talking to Japanese people once a week online. And then I got a job at a sushi restaurant, and I was able to speak Japanese relatively well because of all this, everything I had done until then. And then getting a job there, I got even better at Japanese because this was my first real life talking to Japanese people in real life. Like I only talk to Japanese people online on Skype. So that was very cool for me. Like, oh wow, I actually get to use Japanese. I spent 2 freaking years learning the kanji, learning the grammar, making all these flashcards. I'm able to speak now with my partners online, and then I got the job at the sushi restaurant, and yeah, most of them were Japanese, so I got to use my Japanese. And then I think that's another part of the all Japanese all the time method. Basically, you have to immerse a lot, and getting a Japanese job at the restaurant was perfect timing because I had already immersed so much, and then it was finally time for me to get some real life immersion, like working in a Japanese environment. So then, I worked there for 2 years, and I went to college, made some Japanese friends through my college. I went to Georgia State University in Atlanta, and yeah, so at this point I'm like 21. I can speak pretty well Japanese. I'm like watching, at some point when I was like 20 or 19, I started to watch a lot, or when I was working at the sushi restaurant, this is where I got interested in fish. If y'all know my other channel, Stepping Up with Mark, y'all know I like to fillet fish and cook fish. And I got the inspiration from that working at the sushi restaurant. And then for immersion, I would go home and watch Japanese YouTubers, aka Kimaguri Cook. Watch them cut tuna, salmon, make some crazy dishes. That was my immersion. So I would watch that. So yeah, then I'm 21 at this point in Georgia State. Start getting into fishing. I got into some Japanese fishing YouTubers, and then that's how I got into fishing. So I never liked fishing from the beginning, basically through Japanese and through Japanese immersion. That's how I got into liking fishing. And yeah, so I started fishing, watching a lot of Japanese fishing YouTubers. There's this guy called Carpa Nora, something like that. If you look that up, he'll probably come up. Japanese fishing YouTuber who camps a lot. But yeah, so, and then Georgia State, and then I get a job at a ramen restaurant, and the owner is Japanese, so I get to speak Japanese to him. And then I quit that place because I didn't like the manager. I hated the manager at that place. It wasn't the Japanese was the owner. Japanese was the owner. The manager is this guy from, where is he from? He's from, well, I don't want to get too into details, but I didn't like that place. So I got a job at this place called Shoya Izakaya in Atlanta. Still in Atlanta. If y'all ever go, check it out. Super good izakaya. Got a job there, and Japanese people there, I get to use Japanese there all the time, which is dope. So yeah, the title of this video, how did I get fluent in Japanese before I moved to America, or before I moved to Japan? Yeah, basically I just had a lot of immersion, and I followed those steps. If you follow those steps, you learn the kanji, you immerse while you're learning the kanji, you're always listening to Japanese, whether it be podcasts, music, whatever, and you're making the flashcards. Let me tell you, it's all this stuff combined. You need to do all this stuff combined, and you will get good at Japanese. If you don't do all this stuff combined, if you just immerse and you never make flashcards and never have, like, the SRS is so big, it's such a big deal making these flashcards. And I guess one thing I didn't touch on was what the flashcards are about. So I was making the grammar, like, first it's a lot of just, what do you call it, vocab flashcards, like building, door, wood, like vocab flashcards. And then you start getting into, once you're learning all this grammar, you want to make sentence flashcards with all the words you have learned. Like, so we learned building, we learned door, we learned wood. So you can make a sentence like with some grammar point, like say you learned how to say, this is made from blah blah blah. So you could say, this building is made from wood, or this door is made from wood, and you make a sentence, and then now you know how to say this building is made from, like, it all ties in together. So you want to make sentences, flashcard sentences, with all the stuff you learned, with the grammar you learned, and then just study hella, and then now you know, and then, like, there will be some time where, like, oh, this blah 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 is made of wood, and because you studied the flashcard, it'll just come out of your mouth, like, you don't even have to think, it just comes out of your mouth. And also when you hear it, you don't even have to think either, because you learned it like that. So yeah, guys, that's just a little explanation on how I got fluent in Japanese before I moved to America. But yeah, guys, I don't want to make this sub channel all about Japanese content, but I want to make some Japanese videos. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see, any questions you got for me. I'm going to be pumping out more videos on the sub channel now that I have a new camera, iPhone 14. Very excited about this camera, you guys. Sorry if the wind, you can't hear too well in the wind. I got a mic for it as well, but the mic, I lost one of the pieces of it, but it's in my room somewhere. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see next. Leave a comment if any of y'all are studying Japanese, if this was helpful, or yeah, what other content you want to see on the sub channel. And yeah, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Boy.